Deontay Wilder saying he's going to beat Tyson Fury up, then knock him out. But that's not really his MO, is it? He doesn't really beat people up. It's normally a right hand lands that may result in a one-shot deal, or he incapacitates his opponent and follow up to get a stoppage win. That's normally how he does it. But handing out beatdowns? No. He's never systematically beat someone up like Tyson Fury did him. I've never seen that. Maybe Malik's got him on some new improved shit, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. In fact, in a lot of his fights, he's behind on points until he lands the right hand. I've long suspected that Wilder does not have the best chin, before Wilder and Fury too. And recently, Fury's been telling us how he's changed from being a boxer who keeps it long to being this big puncher who will take it to you. And in the June press conference where Wilder went mute, Sugar Hill Stewart was telling us how Tyson Fury now has one-punch knockout power. And when he said that, I'm not 100% convinced. And if he knocks Wilder out again, it still won't tell me that much because, like I've said, I've never been convinced that Wilder has the greatest punch resistance. Never. I think Sugar Hill was just trying to get in Wilder's head, but I don't know if that worked because he had the headphones on, but I'm sure word got back to him what the steward said. Now, the winner, in my opinion, because both of them have screwed up the undisputed fight, I don't have them as the number one heavyweight. I'm not going to crown nobody the number one heavyweight until I see an undisputed fight. I'm just not going to do it. And one thing I'm sick of from both of these guys is the damage control they do on their wins. Like this guy Fury talking about he's wounded that Joshua didn't win. Why wasn't you wounded when the arbitration put the fight out of touch? After you was telling everybody, oh, we're going to fight AJ and we'll this and that and that. But anyway, forget that. Overinflating their wins way too much. Wilder is the most dangerous fighter out there. He beats Joshua Usyk and everyone else out there. And then, in the same breath, he will say, Wilder hasn't fought any top heavyweights except me. So there's a little contradiction within that. Unless, of course, Fury is saying all the heavyweights apart from himself are bums. Then, fair enough. If that's what he believes, that's what he believes. And on this page, they're quoting, this was 6 months ago, not one of Wilder's opponents except Ortiz and Fury is currently ranked in the top 10 by the Ring, BoxRec or ESPN. But then again, you could say the same for Fury. I was doing some research on Otto Wallin's rankings. Wasn't very impressive at all. Where's Tom Schwartz? Is he ranked? What about the second best cruiserweight in Albania? Or Pianeta? Are they ranked? Vlad's retired. Derek Chisora is probably the only name on the peripheries of world class on Tyson Fury's record, outside of Deontay Wilder and Otto Wallin, in my opinion, I guess. You go look at AJ's record. I'm not going to do it now because I don't have the time. Look at the amount of ranked opponents he's fought and faced who are still ranked. But yeah, Wilder and Fury, they both got this habit of inflating their wins. Wilder would beat anyone. The only person he can't beat is me. And then Wilder does the same thing with Luis Ortiz, even up until yesterday. Deontay Wilder, to this day, no one wants to fight Luis Ortiz. When they say Ortiz is old, these fighters use it as an excuse not to fight the highly skillful southpaw I fought twice. A lot of people avoided that man because they didn't want to get beat. Anthony Joshua offered Luis Ortiz a fight in 2019. Record highest payday. And Wilder was saying, oh, he's always training, so he'll always be in shape. So what happened? Joe Joyce called him out last month and got crickets back. And I think recently Ortiz said, yeah, you can fight me on Tank Davis's card. Come on, man. Can't take this guy serious. And there's his name coming up there from this website, who is not the most credible website in my opinion. They're saying, look, Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz, Michael Hunter, and others have not shown any interest in taking out Eliminator with Hrgovic. These are fights he could get easy. And this is how they're trying to inflate their records. By Wilder boosting up Ortiz, and by Fury telling us that, oh, Wilder is so dangerous, only I can beat him. And now they're trying to make out that no one else in the weight class can fight. It's pathetic, really. Wilder had the nerve to be talking about, you guys don't know your boxing history. I know my boxing history. Mike Tyson never fought nobody. Well, look, I don't have to do no breakdown on Mike Tyson's opponents to know that he cleared out his weight class and was undisputed champion, something he's never been. Wilder's never even held 2 belts. Tyson Fury's never made a defense of the belt. This is why I will not be crowning neither of them as the best heavyweight. How about Instead of trying to convince us how good Ortiz is Wilder, or in Fury's case, how dangerous Wilder is, how about you make a commitment to fighting for all 4 belts and taking on mandatories like Dillian for a start? So much for Bob Arum telling AJ he needs to step aside so Fury can fight Usyk for all the belts. Listen, you had your opportunity to fight for Undisputed. You told everybody the arbitration wouldn't be an issue, and it was an issue. You're not getting no option to do that. Let AJ fight Usyk and get his belts back. He deserves that. And the WBC have ordered Dillian as the mandatory for Fury and Wilder. So Dillian can't afford no slip-ups against Otto Wallin. None. Now, I don't trust the WBC because even though they're saying all that, they're saying the winner of Fury and Wilder will have 30 days to secure a contract to unify the division against Usyk in search of an undisputed champion in the division. But Usyk has a rematch clause which seems pretty much ironclad. Not even Al Heyman tried to fuck with it with Ruiz. So watch Arum going off with Mke Coppinger over Teofimo Lopez.
Is on top of the world, and he hasn't fought for over a year. I mean, that's a criminal thing.
It wouldn't have won the first bid if you would have paid him what he was looking for.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
Yeah?
Yeah, prick.
Go ahead.
Come on, get him out of here.
Okay, get me out of here.
Yeah, move him out of here, Derek.
I'll tell you what, Mike, if you can get to Bob like that, you're my dude right now. I'll take the cap out of your name. I was on Pheno Boxing, and that press conference got heated around the 56-minute mark of the video. Got really heated. Tyson Fury wanted to know why Wilder believed that Fury only won by cheating. Why did he switch up the camp, and why is he doing all this extra training? Wilder replied, well, why have you changed up your camp from the first to second fight? But Fury didn't switch up or change up his setup after the first Deontay Wilder fight. He did that after the Otto Wallin fight. He got rid of Ben Davison and Sugar Hill came in. Fury started getting very animated. They didn't have a face-to-face. Wilder kept his composure. I think that's the new strategy, not to engage. Now, everybody looked at the scale with interest when Tyson Fury weighed in at 273, thinking, is this too heavy for the second fight? Well, Sugar Hill is talking about he could be 20 pounds heavier. He says not 300 pounds, but around 290. So that'd be a 17-pound increase. Now, this is just my opinion, but Tyson Fury weighing in at 290 may work against Deontay Wilder. I still picked him to beat Deontay Wilder in the second fight when he weighed in at 273, because Wilder doesn't have the footwork to maneuver around it. Wilder didn't strategize to tire Tyson Fury out and make him use his legs, make him really have to work at cutting off that ring with that added bulk and see how he fares. Wilder, he was a little too upright, relying on that reflex, leaning back thing. And I think he was shocked that Tyson Fury took the fight to him like that and he never recovered. But someone is going to take advantage of that bulk that Tyson Fury is adding to his frame. We'll see if Wilder has the boxing acumen under the tutelage of Malik Scott to do better than he did last time. Like, let's not get into the fan base, let's leave them. But there's people who believe that Tyson Fury can do everything, that he's moving like a middleweight. He's not moving like a middleweight. He's got long legs and he can cover a lot of ground. Now, the 2018 version, who drew with Wilder, he moves more like a middleweight than the 2020 version, who stopped Wilder. I'm telling you, foot speed can give Tyson Fury all types of problems. Wilder doesn't have that. And there's no excuse for Wilder. He's had the heads up from last February, where Fury came in at 273. So I'm assuming that he's been prepping for a heavy Fury approaching the third fight. If you watch it closely, Fury was blowing pretty hard at times, but he fought for it as he should do. It's taxing on the lungs, but you'd rather be in this position than the guy taking the beating, bleeding from his ear, getting bullied around the ring, floored with headshots, body shots, and mauled all around the place. Going into this third fight, here's the thing. Pre-fight, Wilder didn't express any concerns about anything illegal that Tyson Fury could do to cheat and win the fight. They didn't express anything. They wasn't even bringing up the PED case from the Christian Hammer fight. They weren't even bringing that up. Wilder said he didn't know anything about it, and he didn't seem to care. Post-fight of the rematch, it just went crazy. Breland. Darrell got involved. The referee, the costume, the gloves, the water got spiked. Tyson Fury said the state commission were also thrown in the mix by Wilder or somebody connected to him. Egg weights. His PED case came up. So that's a bit strange. You didn't have the heads up on none of this beforehand? You were just all innocent victims who just walked into this white supremacist plot with no prior knowledge that any of this was going to happen? And it's about several different points of accusation and allegations. If Deontay Wilder is going to accuse Tyson Fury of cheating, well, cheating is not only committing a foul, hitting someone low, or taking PEDs. There's many forms of cheating. Trying to cheat your opponent out of his victory. Trying to distort the facts of what actually happened in the fight. I don't need nobody to agree with me. I live by my own principles. A lot of people don't do that. You're going to say, oh no, cheating is PEDs or poking someone in the eye with a thumb or punching them low. That's what you're going to say. Cheating is dishonesty. That's what cheating is. It doesn't have to be some generic definition. When Jack Johnson was beating the crap out of Tommy Burns and became the first black heavyweight champion and they turned the cameras off, that was them trying to cheat the history books by turning off the camera. You can find that film online on YouTube. Johnson versus Burns. Do you know how much years they tried to suppress that film? That's cheating. Whether you like it or not, that's cheating. The way both of them overinflate their best wins. Oh, nobody can beat Wilder except me. Nobody wants to fight Luis Ortiz. To become a great heavyweight champion, in my opinion, you should be attempting to be undisputed and be looking to clear out your division. Not be hoarding your best win and then overinflate it. Ali didn't do that. I mean, look at this nonsense here. It's 1987. Mike Tyson has all 3 straps. Undisputed champion. But yet, the Ring magazine of Michael Spinks as champion. Some lineal nonsense. See Tyson Fury talking all that lineal shit to boost his claim as a legit champion? Cheating. Just like this shit here. But what's the reality of it? Who's the real champ? Who did Spinks beat in this top 10 here? Who did he beat? He didn't beat Tyson. Tyson knocked him out in, 30 seconds or something in the following year. He didn't beat Evander Holyfield. He didn't beat Tony Tucker. In fact, he dropped the IBF belt to avoid his mandatory Tony Tucker, who would have been Spinks' first fight in the unification tournament. He didn't fight Tim Witherspoon. He didn't fight Pinklon Thomas. He didn't fight Burbick. He didn't fight Adilson Rodriguez, Tyrrell Biggs, or Mike Weaver. Who did Mike fight in that list? Well, he knocked out Michael Spinks, the supposed champion. He later went on to fight Holyfield in the 90s. That's a long time away. But he beat Tony Tucker. He beat Pinklon Thomas. He beat Carl the Truth Williams. He beat Trevor Burbick. He beat Tyrrell Biggs. That is what you call no stone unturned. We go to 1971. Joe Frazier is the champion. Muhammad Ali comes out of exile, tries to get his belt back, but Frazier beats him. But I want to concentrate on Ali because he got the belt back in 1974, taking on George Foreman. Look at his record. He's fought Frazier 3 times, won 2 out of 3. He's fought Foreman, beat him. Jimmy Ellis, beat him. Ron Lau, beat him. Floyd Patterson, beat him twice. Ernie Terrell, unified all the belts against Terrell. In 1967, Ali had the WBC belt. Terrell had the WBA. Jose Roman, didn't fight Jose Roman. Joe Bugner, beat him twice. Ken Norton, he won 2 out of 3. You could argue that Norton got the better of the series, but it is what it is. And Jose Luis Garcia, he didn't fight him. So, how much champions has Deontay Wilder beat? Lajkovic and Stavern. That's it. How much champions has Tyson Fury beat? 2. Vlad and Wilder. That's it. Yeah, you can say what you want. Joshua lost, but the amount of propaganda them two used compared to Anthony Joshua to try and advance their reputation, it's quite sad, really. Here's the thing, though. Boxing is a cutthroat sport all around the board. Shark-infested waters. How do you navigate them waters? What are you prepared to do for victory? I'm not just talking about the boxers. There's a lot of different areas where what you're doing there might be legal, but is it morally correct? In or out the ring? Half the battles are fought outside the ring. Maybe more, actually, with all the politics. That's always been in boxing. Tyson Fury was talking yesterday about the Steve Cunningham fight, saying it was possibly his hardest fight. He was on the canvas, and he said, yeah, he was getting outboxed. And him and Steve Bunce, they were recollecting how he used the forearm, illegally perhaps, but he got away with it. And then he hit Cunningham with the right and put him away. A lot of people screamed blue murder. Tyson Fury cheated, he cheated, he cheated, he cheated. Then you got his PED case. You ask Gareth Davis if Tyson Fury's a drug cheat. This man works for the Telegraph. He's a mainstream journalist. I bet you he put some serious spin on it, even though the facts are there. The facts are out there. If you don't want to hear it, then you'll turn a blind eye to it. Now, some people will tell you Anthony Joshua lost every fight in the Olympics and shouldn't have got the gold medal. That's nonsense. In my opinion, the Erislandy Savon fight, he didn't win it. Was it set up for him to win? To a degree, yeah. It's in London. He's a super heavyweight. He looks the part. I think he beat all the other guys apart from Savon. And in all truth, even though I think he won the other fights, them guys would have needed a knockout or a stoppage to beat Joshua in London. I can't prove that. But yeah, to a degree, that's cheating. Not Joshua necessarily cheating, but the machine is cheating to benefit a fighter. It won't be the first or the last time. So what? Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury in the WBC, combining to freeze Dillian out for what? 1,000 days as a top contender? That's not cheating? No, it's cheating. It's dishonest. Show me where stories like that are on Mike Tyson's resume or Muhammad Ali's. That's the only argument there. Don't be telling me, oh, well, he wasn't mandatory and oh, this and that, and he didn't do this. No. Tell me a story like that on Mike Tyson's resume when he was champion or Muhammad Ali's. Everybody's got different thresholds on what they're prepared to do to be successful. It is what it is. A lot of people complained, mostly pro Deontay Wilder support, that the overhand right that Tyson Fury decked him with was an illegal punch. It hit him on the back of the head. But what do a lot of Deontay Wilder opponents and observers watch in his fight? What do they complain about? The amount of rabbit punches he throws. Now, Wilder's trying this composed approach, which is what he and Malik and Team Wilder are going for. Is this a fresh approach or has he been humbled? That used to be his thing. Remember when he was bragging, I want somebody to shut me up. Come and shut me up. I believe he used to draw a lot of energy from the histrionics from his pressers. But he doesn't have that no more. So what now? He's this composed boxer. If he doesn't go into the fight psyched up on adrenaline, might that not affect his biggest tool, which is his punching power? He avoided the face-to-face with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has changed Deontay Wilder so much. Fury said that the mind games don't matter, but if they do, Fury's won all of them so far from 2018. Let's see the game plan, as Mike Tyson famously said when he gets hit in the face. We'll see the real Deontay Wilder then. I think he's a little psychologically damaged. I do believe that. But unlike a lot of other people talking boxing, I'm not going to reserve this condition just for him, like they do for Joshua. Joshua's the only one who's been impacted by defeat. He's the only one who needs to start back at apprenticeship level. It's just weird. But, I'm not doing that. Tyson Fury was psychologically impacted by Deontay Wilder after the first fight. His wife wanted him to retire, especially after that second knockdown. And he didn't rematch Wilder straight away, did he? He went down the pecking order. He gave it over a year, before he came back for that rematch. He's not being cashed out, Wilder. I wouldn't say that, but if you was Al Heyman or Shelley Finkel, this is the fight you'd be wanting him to take. You don't want him to take no warm-ups. You want him to go straight back in there. Only thing is, though, the 18 months or so, 19 months or whatever it is, in theory, it could give him time to get over the defeat. But at the same time, like, the inactivity, no warm-up fight to practice all the stuff that Malik has been teaching him. The fact that he's never actually acknowledged in public that he was defeated. could suggest he hasn't really learned anything from the second fight. Because if he goes in there with the mindset that the only reason he lost the last one was through Tyson Fury cheating, he's going to get a beating, a bad beating. And look, I'm not trying to get on the wrong side of his fan base. I'm not. I try to shoot straight. That's what I try to do. You know, I'm a straight up dude. These things are hard to overcome if you can't face your demons head on and call it for what it is. And if he can't do that, I can't really give him a fighting chance of winning. I really can't. Anyway, enough of that fight for now. The IBF have gave Matchroom the rights to stage Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos. And Eddie Hearn is delighted, apparently, to have the fight, and they're going to announce a date and a location, etc., soon. Bob won't be too happy that Matchroom have obtained the rights to that fight. Like, he was passive-aggressive, threatening Eddie not to bid for the fight, but they've got it now. So Triller, they lose their rights to the fight, along with the 1.2 million, 20% of the bid, which was left in escrow. And they're barred from participating in any IBF purse bids until April the 6th, I'm assuming next year. So it's still working out well for Teo, because he gets 65% of that 1.2 that Triller have left in the escrow, and that will take his purse to 3.5. Obviously, he has to give some of that to Bob. But enough of doing the maths and crunching numbers for this fight. Enough of that. Let's get the fight on and get it over and done with. Richard Schaefer. He got a lot of props for the work he done at Golden Boy when everything was on HBO. Him, Al Heyman, and Oscar. Then he tried that Ring Star thing. He had a promotional deal with Haymaker Promotions, but that flopped. He didn't do nothing with Joe Joyce or anyone else he had on there. But now he's got this Prrobellum promotional outfit, and he's signing up fighters. He's got some heavyweight puncher named Brandon Moore. They've got Badu Jack. He's obviously left TMT. And they signed Ricky Burns. I didn't even know Ricky Burns was still fighting. Now, apart from this Brandon Moore, who I don't know his record, but he's still unproven, obviously. Ricky Burns and Badu Jack are a little past their best. Well, Ricky Burns definitely is. Badu Jack's moving up to cruiser. I just need to know why Regis Prograis is going over to Prrobellum. I wouldn't describe him as past his prime. What fights are they going to be able to get for this guy is what I'm wondering now. And what promotional outfit would sign Ricky Burns right now at this stage of his career? He hasn't fought since 2019 when he was outpointed by Lee Selby. He's 38 years of age. So it makes me question the ambition of the promotional company. Now, Richard's not trying to compete with the PBC or Top Rank or anything like that. They're saying Prrobellum are planning to use alliances in different territories. Europe, Eastern Europe, Mke Coppinger calls the Eastern Bloc, but Eastern Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Africa. He estimates 80 to 90 of those events will take place outside of the US. Well, that's why he's signing up Badu Jack and Ricky Burns, because he's just going to use them to fill out cards, really, in Dubai and places like that. Ideally, at this stage of Prograis' career, he wants to be on a DAZN, a PBC, a Top Rank. He's that level of fighter right now. He's only got the one loss to Josh Taylor, which could have went either way. Just checked his age. He is 32, so he's got to get a move on. Schaefer says Prrobellum is going to be different to Ringstar. He said the difference now is the team Prrobellum has formed. He said he wants to work with all promoters and managers. Of course he does. He hasn't got no choice. Look at the fighters he's signing. Might not be a bad idea, because he might be able to get fights for some of the guys on the bigger promotional outfits. I was talking about the Matchrooms, the Top Ranks or PBCs. You might be able to get some of the inactive fighters on them networks work. We'll see. We'll see. Adam Smith talking about the 402 peak viewership for the last card, headlined by David Avanesyan. But, you know, he said it himself. They were coming off the back of the Arsenal game, so that audience stayed around for the card. But I tell you what, you're going to need a better card. Even if Eubank was headlining, his opponent wasn't going to be all that anyway. I know it's early days, but if you're going to continue boxing without Eddie Hearn and you're getting arguably a lot of cast-offs from Matchroom, how do you expect to maintain them 402 peaks long term?